Good morning. Welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia, and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. And if you are new here, Fridays are our garden tour days most weeks. And so today we are doing a garden tour. I am an urban gardener and I grow in my urban backyard. I grow in-ground, raised beds, bags, pots, and green stalks at this point. Oh, and no dig. And so today we are going to do a garden tour. I am in Virginia, zone 7B, and so we have a really long growing season. And we had a heat wave about a week or two ago. It is cooling down a little bit. We have gotten some rain, but I have had to pull some plants out. There are still plants that I need to pull. I just have not gotten around to it and replace them with some other things. So the garden has changed a little bit this week. The main thing that you might see is I have a good amount of green stalks behind me. If you remember, we had green stalks kind of all around the garden, but the ones that were in the back were starting to feel like a wall to me. And so I had to move those. So we're going to see what that looks like now. I wanted to kind of be able to move freely around the garden. And if you're new here, I did a bunch of bags. I think it's like 20 bags in my walkway that have beans and sunflowers in them. And so it's really like difficult for me to get down the aisle, but that's compact gardening, and I am 100% compact gardening in my backyard. So let's get on with the garden tour. I do not think we're gonna go through the green stalks today. I'll do a separate garden tour for that, and we may just take a quick look into the greenhouse as well. I might add that in with the green stalks. If not, and I know some people are like, you know, you could put up a 2-hour video and I would watch it, but a 2-hour video means I also have to edit it. So we're gonna have to start breaking these garden tours up, which is not a bad problem to have, y'all, because I'm growing so much food right now. I'm gonna stop talking and get on with the garden tour, but give me 1 minute. Y'all know how I do. Right now, I have almost 2 gallons of tomatoes in the freezer. That's because I don't want to pressure myself to like make sauce and stuff right now too. I want to focus on the garden, and then in the off season, I'm going to work on making sauces and things of that nature. Now, I am putting my peppers into the dehydrator right now because a big portion of why I grow peppers is to make a powder for seasoning my food. Like that's one of the big things. Now, there are things that I eat fresh, like the shishito peppers, the Jimmy Nardello peppers, because they're just very delicious, right? But anyway, let's get on with this garden tour, y'all. So we're going to start right here today, but we're not going to go through what's in the green stalks. We'll do that later, like I said. But we got the walkway in. Sent my son to Home Depot yesterday because, baby, I'm not going to lie to y'all. At this point, I'm tired of lifting stuff. I'm tired of moving stuff. I'm tired of doing all of that. And so I'm very thankful that he does not mind, because outside of going to get the things for me and bringing it to the back of the house, like they don't help with the garden, which is fine. I do the rest of it. So he went and got the rest of the blocks for me, and he went and got me some more sand because, oh, if you're new here, I have chickens and I have quail, and I needed to put some more sand. I needed to like make sure the sand was clean in their coop and add more sand to it. So he went and got me some sand. The sand is working very well for the quail. I go through, scoop out the manure, and the sand is working really good for them. So I'm excited to say the sand was a good idea, at least for the summer. I don't know how that's gonna work in the winter, but we will see. Also, let's get back to the garden too. I got so much I want to tell y'all, but I'm trying not to make this video super duper long. Okay, so what I was saying is we went ahead and put the rest of the pavers in. We moved the green stalk over here, and it's looking amazing. Also, I was not turning this green stalk because it was a hassle, and I think it's starting to do just a little bit better. Not that it was doing bad where it was, but yeah, I'm excited about that. So all of these green stalks, the pink one is also over here now, and so we'll be growing right here as well. The citrus grove is looking good. Think we're gonna talk through this in the next garden tour. Right here is where my quail are. These are 2 coops that I have. Anything that I show in this video, I'm gonna try to link at the bottom in the description. So if like you're interested in these coops, if you're interested in the greenhouse, if you're interested in the chair, the seating area that I have, you can look down in the description because I'm gonna put everything in the description. Truly trying to make this video short. And then this is my quick tent greenhouse. And so this is like a polytunnel type greenhouse. And we have a lot of stuff growing in here too, but we will go through this in the next garden tour. We are going to focus on the actual main garden today. So with that being said, we may start getting one extra video right now in the summer. So I may post the rest of this tomorrow if I get it recorded. Today is July the 4th. So just want to kind of tell you like what you're seeing is on July the 4th. All right, let's go into the garden. So we'll start here. Everybody's saying, when are you going to paint the door? I'm going to paint it when I, have time, when it's not super hot outside, but the door will be painted yellow eventually. When you come into my garden, this is a grapevine. So this is a muscadine grapevine, and it absolutely has grapes all over it. Someone asked me how many grapes had I picked so far and how do they taste. They're not ready yet. So we have a little while. I feel like we probably harvested these end of July, early August last year. So we have a little bit of time, but also this grapevine just on its own took over all of these trellises. It's only supposed to be on one trellis, but y'all, so many grapes. I hope y'all can see them. I mean, it's just grapes all through here. So it's absolutely beautiful and I can't wait to eat them. All right, once you come up under that trellis, then you're into the main full garden. My first garden, the only place the garden was supposed to be, but now it is in different places and it looks absolutely amazing right now. I mean, things are growing. Y'all see how that walkway has filled out? Like, it's really hard for me to get through there. It's really hard for me to get through there, but just a pan of what the garden looks like. Just want to show y'all what the garden looks like. By the way, I told y'all in my last video that I had to take the camera in and I thought they would take it. They did not. They actually just replaced it. And so I'm very excited about that. If you remember, it fell and the gimbal was like fighting me really bad. So I ended up taking it in, but they didn't take it. So I was very excited about that. Well, let's get back to the garden tour. So we're gonna start right here. My coffee from yesterday, probably my second coffee from yesterday. We have a yellow green stalk here. This is a herb green stalk. It's doing really well. I've been really cutting off of it to make sure that things keep growing. Oh, real quick. The oregano is starting to spread. I think y'all can see that. I'm excited about that because I can still plant other things in the pocket even though the oregano is in there. So I'm okay with that. This is parsley. Right here beside that yellow green stalk, you have quite a few pepper plants. If you remember, we had put some rabbit manure into these pepper plants because they were a lot smaller. So if you can see this one specifically, the leaves are getting larger on them now. So I can see that that started to work. That's a jalapeno. This is a shishito. That one is still working to get a bit bigger. This one as well, that's a shishito pepper. Right behind it though is that cayenne pepper I've been telling y'all about. And they are starting to ripen. And it is full of cayenne peppers. Like, it's falling back here into this bed. I need to look into staking, but it's full of peppers. I'm very excited about that. These are 2 more jalapeno peppers. And so if you can see what I mean, see how small these leaves are, a little bit light green compared to the leaves on the larger plants. But this one is actually starting to look that way. We're just waiting for it to get a little bit bigger. But I think that they will all, end up being the same size eventually. I know, I've done this before, not with rabbit manure, but just like working on a plant that is not growing at the same rate as other plants. I've seen it happen. I know it will work. Also, can't wait to show y'all the other little 3 peppers that we've been working on. They are looking good, y'all. They looking good. And so right beside the peppers that I just showed you, we have some tomatoes that's in bags, and these are 7-gallon grow bags. They also have some basil in them. I just recently planted basil in those, and so the basil is looking decent. This one right here is probably looking the best, but it probably gets the most sun. There was one in this bag. It died. I didn't worry about it. I didn't worry about it, but yeah, those basil are looking good. And the tomatoes are also looking good. I've been harvesting off of these, and this week I said that I was going to try to pick up the camera when I harvest. I did not. But anyway, we have good amount of tomatoes in here. So these plants are still actually looking good too. I have been coming through and pulling off any leaves that look diseased like these. I need to go ahead and pull those off, but I'll get them once we finish. But look at that, y'all. We got tomatoes all in here. So that's one group of tomatoes that we have. Look at all these bees over here on this anise hyssop. They are over that plant. Can y'all see them? There's another one back there. And they got pollen all over them. This is anise hyssop. I did not harvest this year, like at all. But over here in general, I gotta figure something out because I don't wanna go in there, if that makes sense. It's a hassle to get in there. This is over in the orchard area. I did just harvest all of my lemon balm, but it will grow back. It will grow back. And the roses are very much looking like they wanna die, but I do think that they are gonna come back in the fall. I just think it's been very, very hot here. By the way, more grapes. I mean, just so many grapes, y'all. They all in there. I can't wait. I made muscadine grape jelly or jam, whichever one it is, last year, and it was absolutely delicious. This year, I'm probably gonna have to give some of it away because I didn't have nearly as many grapes last year as I do this year. And to anyone who wants to know what do I do to this grapevine, I don't do anything to it, which is how we ended up with so much grapevine. Like, I didn't cut it at the end to make it stop growing. I think maybe one year, I decided to trim it and stuff, and then life started lifing, and then I never did it again, and that's how we ended up with this. So to answer anybody's question that wants to know what do I do to it, I don't do anything. At this point, I just let it grow. Now, what I will say is when it gets wild and out of control, I just come through and cut some of the limbs off, but that's not really upkeep. That's just me trying to make sure that it's not in my way. So I don't do nothing to it. Right up under that grapevine is another garden bed. My calendula is pretty much about to give up on me. They are giving out very small flowers now, and the plants look bad. So I haven't pulled this one. I have pulled some calendula already. But if you see back here, this is where we had the walking onions. So they are very much getting established. Also, I'm not giving up on watermelons, not giving up on them. However, I'm not allowing this whole bed to just be watermelon anymore. I planted some dahlias down here. Some ground cherries are down here now. What else did I plant down here? Oh, that's a sunflower down here. Added some more zinnias. That's another dahlia back there. So I'm not giving up. I'm leaving the plants, but I don't want to waste so much garden space, and we still have so much time to grow. And so I'm leaving them, but also gonna use this bed for something else. And then we do have a snapdragon down here, y'all, but that's almost gone too, so it's okay. When I say gone, we're not gonna get any more sprouts off of it, but these right here are the seed pods. So I'm letting them dry. Once they finish drying, I can open them. I don't know if this one is dry enough for us to see. Well, yeah, I don't think it's dry enough. But anyway, this is where the seeds are going to come from, so I can get some seeds out of them. All right, moving on. Behind the tomatoes that I just showed you is another bed. It is in ground, which I'm actually no dig is what it is. And I'm actually thinking after this season, I'm going to make it a raised bed only because the strawberries still try to come over into this bed, and I can control the strawberries if I make this a raised bed. So that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, but let me show you it. So this bed has asters in it. I did go ahead and cut off the top. Those flowers are now in my house sitting on the table. The plant doesn't look good, y'all. The plant doesn't look good at all, but it is still trying to give us some more flowers, so I'm gonna leave it. They get kind of tall. They normally get bushy. So you can see right here on the side, there's more growing out. So I'm just gonna leave it, see what happens. I did put a dahlia in here. There's a hollyhock back here. I put a ground cherry in here as well. This pretty basil is starting to bush out, so I need to harvest that again. This basil, the more you harvest it, the bushier it gets. And so I'm going to continue to harvest that. This is a tomato that we put in not too long ago because we had squash or zucchini in this bed. They got eaten by the vine borers, and so I replaced it with a tomato. I need to finish staking that. I did put a stake in there. I went and got my 5 stakes this week, but this one was already here. But my point is, I went and got my 5 stakes. There's more stakes. You'll see them when we walk through. So this is a tomato. Don't know what it is. It was a volunteer that I had potted up to save to plant later if I needed it, and I did need it. This is a pepper plant. It's a cayenne pepper. That's looking good too, starting to grow. There's a few peppers on there. hadn't really seen. There's another basil here. This is another aster that looks better than the other one, so I'm excited about that. There's some more dahlias. These all were planted out recently, ground cherry too. Planted out recently, so they're getting established. This one looks like it's getting eaten up, which, you know, it is what it is. And then there's another tomato in here. So we have the strawberries back here, and they look really good, but as you can see, they're trying to come over here. I have been pulling them. Also, my dog got in here. I left the gate open, so that's why you got like the stuff laid down. I don't know what she was looking for because it's plastic on the ground. But yeah, oh, and this is a newer dahlia because for whatever reason, there was a dahlia here. She dug this up and then started heading that way. So who knows what she was doing out here. So yeah, that's this little space right here that, like I said, we're gonna turn this into a raised bed. Right beside that is some more tomatoes. There's a lot of tomatoes in here. We're just waiting on them to ripen, but they're all in here. So I'm excited about that. And I have been, like I said, pulling off anything that looks diseased. So I walked around to the other side just to show y'all. A lot of these have like fallen over. And so with that being said, I'm just gonna let these ripen and then I'm gonna pull them off. They look really bad. I think it's because somehow I got an indeterminate cherry tomato in here. So it was growing really big, toppling other things. And so now it's looking pretty bad on this side. So with that being said, we're also getting quite a bit of disease in here. I haven't came through and pulled this morning, but I did last night. But if you can see right here, like, oh my God, it's just a big jumbly mess. So we're gonna let whatever ripens ripen, and then we're gonna pull these out. I do have other tomatoes that I started, so I'm probably just going to pull these out and put some more tomatoes in there. Some more tomato plants. The chickens are very loud this morning, y'all. Very, very loud. We have uncovered the blueberries because at this point they are done. Whatever was left, the birds got them, but we uncovered them because they're done at this point. My blueberries are in ground. They all came from Lowe's. They were like $5 from Lowe's on a clearance. There are a few little ones left, but we'll just share those with the birds. After we ate fresh, I ended up with a gallon of blueberries for preserving. So I'm very excited about that. If y'all remember, I said I wanted to make some blueberry muffins. And so I'm excited about that. Very, very excited. Now in the bed behind the blueberries, this calendula, I was trying to see if it was gonna like continue to give us big flushes. It's not. The plant is struggling very bad, and I have other calendula seedlings so I can replace it. I just haven't gotten around to pulling them out, but I will sometime this week because at this point they're kind of taking up space and giving us just a few flowers, which is fine. And I've gotten quite a few questions about the calendula. If you go to my Rooted Days playlist, it shows where I make the oil and it shows where I make the butter and the salve that I use for my skin right now. So if you're interested, that is available. I'll link that playlist down below too, and maybe at the end of this video. I don't know, we'll see. So right beside the calendula I just showed you, I put in one of the zucchini, Emerald Delight, I think. It's supposed to be smaller. I put in some basil, and then there's another basil back there. So that will, you know, fill out this space eventually. This is where succession sowing, like what I really wanted to do this year, is working out because I already had the plant. So that's a plus. This is a pepper plant. I do not know what kind, but it looks like it's getting bigger leaves and stuff too. So it's in my garden bed. And a few people mentioned testing the soil. I'm not gonna do it. It's just an extra thing for me to do. Not telling anybody else not to. I just don't want to. So let's see. This is a basil. It's a purple basil, supposed to be a purple basil, but it definitely is giving green. This is a cayenne pepper. This is a shishito pepper down here. This is a random tomato that volunteered that I left. And then there's another basil down here. That's another cayenne pepper. And these peppers, I cannot remember the name of them, but they are finally starting to flower. Someone gave them to me. So it could have been one with a long maturity day. But anywho, what I was gonna say is the plants are very healthy. So I just think that it is a pepper that has long days to maturity. And then there's another calendula down here, which I wasn't actually harvesting. I just thought it was very pretty, so I kept it. But this is gonna come out too. And there's a lemon basil in here, which always goes to flower really fast on me. but I still like them and they smell really good. On the back, on a trellis in the back, cattle panel trellis, I have some cucumbers and melons. I'm feeling like I did not plant as many melons as I thought I did, or I don't even know if I planted melons at all, y'all. It was tagged as a melon, but you could tell like all of this is cucumber. So I don't know. We did plant melons elsewhere in the garden, so that's gonna be great because I think I planted all cucumbers back here, which is fine. We're gonna live. But they looking good, and there's a lot of baby melons in there, like a lot. Let me see if I can show you some. And a squash bug, my God. There goes some right there, a lot of little ones. It also seems that they all are the lemon cucumbers. I don't know what I did, y'all. It's okay. A cucumber is a cucumber because I thought about it. We don't eat pickles a lot. So me just sitting around, you know, making pickles we don't eat pickles like that. So if we don't get a lot of just regular snacking cucumbers or pickling cucumbers, I'm not gonna be mad about it because we don't eat them like that anyway. We just don't. I was talking to a friend the other day. He is just now getting into gardening. He's gardening in the green stalks and absolutely loves it, right? And so he was like, I decided I'm gonna plant the stuff I eat. I said, that's exactly what you should do. You should definitely plant what you eat because there's no point in having things that you're not going to eat. And for me, it's literally no point in me taking up time to preserve things that we are not going to eat. So with that being said, my jalapeno peppers are still sitting on the table trying to figure out what I could do with those other than pickle them, other than doing jalapeno poppers. So if anybody has any idea, I know there's a thing called cowboy candy, but for me, I shouldn't be eating nothing that sweet anyway. What do y'all do with y'all jalapeno peppers? Because if you also remember, I planted way more plants than I actually needed or wanted this year. So beside that bed I just showed you in the blueberries, we have a trellis with nothing on it really at this point. These were volunteer plants that popped up and I put them over here on this trellis. They're growing amazingly. I'm truly thinking that they are maybe tromboncino or that other squash that I grew last year because the plants are amazing. They aren't being attacked by any kind of squash vine borer or squash bug, none of that. So I'm still letting them grow, but the plants look really good. They just don't have any fruit on them. Something was popping up here, but it didn't get pollinated. So I still don't know what this is. And there are a bunch of these plants in the garden. So there's one right here. That one is not growing as well. There's one right here up under the bean plant that's growing amazingly. Probably about to attach to the trellis eventually, which, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but the plants are very healthy. Just don't know what they are yet. There's another one right here growing well, and then another one right there growing well. And someone mentioned they might be loofah. I have grown loofah, so it could be. I'm just not sure that loofah leaves look like this, so I don't know, y'all. I really don't know, but we're just gonna leave them and see what they produce. They might be one that has a long maturity date too. I also grew a few different types of squash. So we're just gonna see what it is eventually. I guess eventually we're gonna see what it is. So down here, if you remember, we had calendula down here, we had nasturtiums down here. They all were looking pretty bad. The chives are still here and I've been cutting them. So I planted another nasturtium. There's basil in here too. These two plants are basil. And then I put in another Emerald Delight. I did leave one of the calendula plants because it doesn't look that bad. So I left it. If it doesn't start to produce a little bit better for me, I'll pull that and probably replace it with another calendula. And then this is where we put some more sugar cube cantaloupe. And so they're still alive, which means I'm not overwatering, thank goodness. And they're just getting established. I think we did this last week sometime. So these are very new plants in here. And on the back end, we still have borage and we still have some of the cold crops like lacinato kale. They're getting eaten up, but I only saved these so that I could feed the chickens fresh throughout the summer. So they seem to be okay, but they are struggling. This bed over here was for the same purpose, and it still looks just as bad as it did in the last garden tour, but we'll see what happens, y'all. And what I was thinking is I'm about to start my fall seeds, and so once I get a good amount of those started and looking good, I may replant this bed, but I'm also just kind of looking. The inner leaves look fine. So I don't know. We're gonna see. See right here? Inner leaves look fine. So we're gonna see what we do. This is very shaded, and so that's why I decided to keep plants over here in this bed this year. And then the bags, we still have that one beaten here. But these bags aren't looking amazing. The St. John's wort is actually starting to look better. That's starting to look better. And then Swiss chard, more Swiss chard. That's yarrow in this bag, unplanted. The mullein is getting eaten up by something. I don't know what that's getting eaten up by. I need to check, I don't know. But that plantain still rocking with us. We love that. Plantain is a weed and it grows around Virginia anyway. I don't know if it's native or what it is, but it grows like heavily in Virginia anyway. So I didn't expect that it wouldn't grow. I was wondering, would it grow in the shade? The answer is yes. So on the other side of that trellis where I was showing you those squash that's not growing, these are some Armenian yard long cucumbers that we just put in not too long ago. And they're still alive, which means I'm not overwatering. And we love that for me. We do. Oh, there's also a dill plant in here that I'm letting go to seed. So this is from the spring, but I'm just letting it go to seed. So just letting it go up through this trellis. And I'll get the seeds and keep those. So y'all, I have tried Isis candy. It is delicious. Y'all absolutely right, it is delicious. This plant just is not good in this area, it does not seem. However, next year I'm thinking I'm gonna try to plant it in more sun and see if that helps. Cause I do think this is where I planted it last year. So I'm gonna change its location. I am gonna try it again though, because the tomatoes are good. Y'all were 100% correct on how delicious these tomatoes are. So Isis candy has been redeemed. I am going to try it again next year. But right beside that Isis candy, you have a sungo. Well, you have two sungos. They don't look the best either. They don't look as bad as that Isis candy. And we do have some that are ripening. I need to come out here and get it. But this plant is growing really well, although it doesn't look amazing, but it's okay. Right behind those plants, we have some zinnias. These are precious metal zinnias from Floret. They are absolutely beautiful. The plants are looking amazing. We're getting new ones. I also planted more down here, and so those are starting to grow too. This is a part of the raspberry that I need to cut out. That's another precious metal zinnia right there. And there's yarrow in here. There's also an elderberry plant in here that you can't really see because of the zinnias. These are more zinnias up here. Not exactly sure where they came from, but they look amazing as well. And then back here, you have some more tomatoes. I have got not one tomato off of these plants. I think it's just way too shaded. There's also basil in these bags. All of these basil, just like the other ones, were planted out recently. So I'm really just not expecting them to be too big just yet. But these tomato plants, they're slicers, and I haven't seen one tomato on them, not one. By the way, look at this pretty little sunflower with a bee on it. Oh, how pretty. We love it. We just love it, y'all. Since I started gardening, I've really gotten into watching the wildlife, really have gotten into watching it. I think it's so cool, like just to see them out here and moving around the garden, and they don't even realize like I'm in somebody's backyard. So that's really exciting. So on to the corn. You can see like we have this one right here. And it has dried up. Well, not completely. So if you look, there's still some in there, but the outside appears to be dried up. However, when I touch it, there is not a lot of corn in there. So it's okay. We learned this year. But there are quite a few of them in here. Like that one is very small. I'm gonna eat them. If it got any corn on that cob, I'm gonna eat it and try it. But like this one, it's pretty much. I'm pretty sure it didn't get pollinated, which is fine. So as I understand it, so originally when my tassels came, people were saying like, just go outside and tap them. And then people came back and said, you don't need to tap them because it has to get on the silks. Because at the time, there weren't a lot of silks. There was tassels, but not a lot of silks. So I think that's where I went wrong. Next year, we'll do it differently, but we're definitely planting corn again because this has very much excited me on growing corn, y'all. So whatever we get in here, we gonna eat it if it's anything to eat. And then next year, we are going to naturally naturally let this corn do what it does, and we'll see what happens, okay? Down here, I always tell y'all about this squash. It was extra, so I planted it. Has done nothing. It is very much just sitting down here stunted, if I'm honest. Like, it has done absolutely nothing. This is an aster that looks like it's about to give me an aster. It's kind of shaded over here too, just so you know. There's a calendula down here, another purple basil. This is a pepper plant that is getting flowers, so I'm excited about that. There is also, by the way, some other squash in here, winter squash, but they didn't do much. They didn't do much because I planted them after the corn was already big, so they weren't able to get any sun, and that's okay. It's absolutely okay. So if you remember, we had the pink green stalk back there. I can now move through the garden. It was literally feeling like a wall. I was having to walk around, which I thought I was gonna be fine with, but I wasn't in the end. So that's where the pink green stalk was. That's where the green stalk was. So now I can like move through the garden a little bit better. And I am happy about that. Like I wanted to be able to move through. The beans are still looking really good. However, they have slowed down in production, and I'm imagining it's kind of because of the heat, but there are flowers. We still have flowers in here. So they're starting to pick back up. But when we had that really hot week, they just really kind of slowed down. And that's okay, because they are coming back. They're also going down, going down this trellis, which something else will be coming up to meet them soon. So with that being said, I don't know what that sounded like it's gonna be a big mess. But this is a delicata, honeyboat delicata squash. That's pretty small. I've grown them before. They get much bigger. But I have started fertilizing with fish emulsion again. So we're gonna see how this works out for us, because they do get much bigger. Anywho, down here at the bottom, I just pulled out most of the stuff that was down here. It was calendula. There is a nasturtium back there, but that doesn't even look that good. And I did put a ground cherry in here. So that's a little tiny ground cherry. We'll see what happens. And there are some chives down here as well. And then just a bunch of weeds that I need to come through and pull. Now to our tiny peppers that were super duper tiny. Those are the 3. And they are not tiny anymore. They're getting there. And so that is what I was saying. It hasn't been my experience that they stunt and they're never gonna grow again. I just have to give them more nutrition and they will start to grow. Now, what I will tell you is, if you remember, I said there's a bunch of ants on these plants, and I said normally if there's ants, there's aphids. Baby, is aphids everywhere. It's aphids all over this row of peppers. I have been coming out here every day and spraying the ants and the aphids off. They do come back. If you are new here, I do not spray like pesticides or anything like that on my garden. I do have diatomaceous earth, but I try not to use any of that stuff in my garden. The diatomaceous earth was for the chickens. Stop using that for them, changed to lime. And then I have used it in the greenhouses because the ants are pretty bad this year. So I put wood chips down last year. I do not regret it. I love having wood chips, but I do believe that most of the ants are coming from the wood chips, but I like having them. And so I'm just gonna work with it. I have started using my sleeves, especially if I come out here to harvest a pepper. Yeah, I started using my sleeves because they crawl all over me when I come to harvest my peppers. So I'm just still spraying them. We'll see what happens. And these plants struggled with aphids from the very beginning, which does normally happen, right? But I haven't had wood chips down before that would give the ants and the aphids that relationship where they just continue to stay here. But yes, there's ants and aphids everywhere. The peppers are still producing, the plants are still looking healthy, but I was right. There are aphids everywhere, and there aren't that many ladybugs that's going to take care of all of this. And I'm not going to buy ladybugs. I'm just going to if you're new here, I'm one of those people who wants my ecosystem to just kind of work for me. And I don't want to bring in ladybugs that weren't here to begin with, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm gonna let my ecosystem work for me. Let's move on. But in this row, this is a habanada pepper that was looking really, really bad. You see the leaves are getting bigger. The plant is trying to grow, so that's fine. And peppers will grow all the way up until my first frost. So they have plenty of time to get together and get themselves right. But if you see back here, these are the other peppers, and they have grown really well back here, even though they have ants and aphids all over them. And down here, I'm gonna slide my hand in here, y'all. If we gotta come out, we gotta come out. We got a Jimmy Nardello that's starting to ripen, so I cannot wait for that. And we're out. So those peppers are looking good. I'm excited, not excited for the aphids, but also understanding that I'm outside in their territory. Then we have a bed that's full of beans. The beans are starting to look like, starting to look rough. They're still producing beans, so I'm leaving them for now. But when I start my fall seeds, I'm gonna start some more beans, some bush beans, so that we could get another harvest of beans. We have a calendula plant down here that's looking pretty bad. Also, this is a onion that went to seed, that I let go to seed. I'm still letting it dry so that I could get the seeds. We're gonna pull this calendula in a few days. There's a eucalyptus in here, and someone said, maybe it would do well in the lavender bed. So I might move that eucalyptus as soon as I find out if I can move it without it dying, which I have not looked up yet. There are some things that I will look up and research. That's going to be one of them, because I don't want it to die. If it's better to just leave it and hope for the best, that's what I'm going to do. If I can move it, I'm going to put it into the bed with the lavender, which I forgot to show y'all on the other side of the yard. Oh, I know what I forgot to show y'all. That sunflower is still growing. I'm trying to get to the top. Also, the beans have started to grow all the way to the top with it. So I probably won't ever harvest anything that comes off of those beans, because I'm not going to be able to reach it. And I'm most definitely not getting a ladder to get up there. It's just not going to happen. But here's another one that I'm planning to cover with something, because I want to keep the seeds. This head has already died back. So what I could do is take it off and just let it dry. I might do that too. I don't really have anything, and if I leave it uncovered, the birds are gonna eat those seeds out of it. At least that has been my experience. The birds come and they'll eat the seeds out of it. So that's what I'm planning to do with that. Back to the bed we were talking about. So like I said, beans, that's gonna need to be replaced. I always forget to tell y'all, there's a pimento pepper in this bed, and so we're just letting that grow. The plant looks very healthy in the bed. I think it's been shaded quite a bit. I know, by the bean plants. But now that the bean plants are kind of dying back, that plant is getting some sun now. And so we should start seeing that grow a little bit better too. We have some calendula back here that I'm gonna need to pull out. Surprisingly, there are still squash or zucchini in this bed. So I went ahead and staked it because it's still here and it's still living. I haven't gotten any squash or zucchini off of it just yet, but we're gonna leave it. There's a tomato in here. The basil is finally unshaded because the beans are dying back. A zinnia, pretty little zinnia, that's almost to the end of its life. And then this is the same spot where I was telling you I have the delicata squash going up the trellis. And then there's a cucumber plant here. It looks pretty bad. There's this random little oddly shaped cucumber, but we have a dipper gourd in here too, and that has finally started to move up the trellis. It's all the way at the top at this point, so we love that for me. Right behind that bed are more tomatoes in 7-gallon bags. And so right here, we have a black cherry. There's 2 black cherries in here, so they look good. Some Brad's Atomic grapes in here. Dr. Weich's all through here too. So these are looking good. Like this one, I need to pull this leaf off because it is diseased. But the tomatoes are looking good. They're looking a little bit less bushy, but that's because I'm having to pull way more leaves than I have in the past because of the humidity. If you can see right here, we are getting some disease in here. This is very close to the top too, so that's not cool. But I'm gonna come out here and grab it and take all of that off. But yeah, the tomatoes are still looking good back here. Can't complain. The flower bed is looking weedy. I need to get down to this end and weed it. But the sedum is looking good. The snapdragons looking like they wanna die. but the plants are still here. The canna lily has started to flower. Like I said, they have beautiful flowers on them. The echinacea is flowering back here. Beautiful. And then on the other side, more snapdragons that look like they just unhappy. And the asters are starting to give us some more buds. I did take the top like I said I would. This is the other one right here. But yeah, the snapdragons in general are like, girl, give me free. And then there's another sedum right there too. Oh, this is a dahlia from last year. So it came back, and now it may actually start to grow because I think at first it was shaded by the snapdragons, but this is one that I left in the soil and it came back. So I'm excited. I did not plant that this year. I happened to see it the other day and I was like, oh yay, a dahlia. So dahlias will go right up until my first frost too. So I'm excited about that too. Across from the flower bed, you have more tomatoes in 7-gallon bags. And I'm pretty sure this is a Cherokee purple. Look at that monster Cherokee purple right there. That's a big one. And look at that one. That's a big one too. So I'm excited, y'all. Random little tiny sunflower. It just didn't get off the ground. I think it was shaded. And then down here, some of our black beauties are starting to blush. So I'm excited, y'all. Waiting to see if it turns into a very, very black tomato like it shows on the packet. I'm excited though. There's some more in there too. So yeah, and that one is blushing. So yeah, I'm hopeful, y'all. I'm hopeful. This whole row of tomatoes needs to be pulled back. See how it's leaning? I have space on my T-post, so I'm gonna run another line across here so I can pull them back this way. You come back down the road where that green stalk was, you have more peppers. There are ants over here, but I don't know that it's all aphids, but there are ants over here too. So you have a banana pepper, a shishito pepper, jalapeno pepper, a poblano pepper. I have been harvesting these peppers a lot just because I want them to give me more peppers. Poblanos are another one that I eat fresh. I love a poblano pepper. I mean, they're absolutely delicious. So that's another one that I eat fresh too. Then you have Fair or Zone, these last three that's in that row. But the peppers are looking good. I have harvested quite a few Fair or Zone peppers off of there, and so I'm excited about that. Like I said, I put them in the dehydrator, powder them, and then I just keep adding to it all year long so that I'm hopeful to have like a small jar by the end of the season when the peppers are no longer producing. And then right beside those peppers, we have another bed. Y'all, look at these marigolds. I mean, they just look so pretty and so fluffy. I don't know what kind they are, but I'm absolutely planning to save the seeds from them and hope for the best. Because you know, this year I didn't have good luck with marigolds, and so I went and purchased them. These are absolutely beautiful. We got more beans that we'll be pulling soon too. The nasturtiums look pretty bad, but if you remember, this is the one that I want to let go to seed, and I want to let it drop its seed, so that's why it's still here. By the way, that trailing one also looks absolutely terrible, if y'all can see it. I need to pull this one out, but I just haven't yet. Back to this bed. Surprisingly, we still have squash, and so I went ahead and staked those yesterday. It's 2 squash in there, and this one actually produced a squash, but it was laying on the ground, so it's very mushy. So we're just gonna leave that. Actually, I should pull it off so the plant tries to give me something else. But see, it was laying on the ground. It might have also had some pollination issues, so just take it off. And we did stake it, so we're gonna see what happens. I am super duper surprised that we still have squash this year, like this late in the year. And I don't know if it's because it's so mixed in with so many other things. I have no idea. But by this time, any year before, we would not have any squash. So I'm excited. We have another calendula in here that I'm gonna pull this week because it's just not really producing much anymore, and the plant is starting to look bad. And someone mentioned that calendula will grow through the winter. I have not had success getting calendula to grow through the winter. It dies back here in my backyard, not saying in zone 7B or in Virginia. I'm saying in my backyard, it has not worked out for me. Turns into mush, but I did plant some more calendula so that I can replace these. So you know, that works out for me. And then we have the other green stalk. This is a purple one, the first one I ever planted. We have some blushing tomatoes in there, still have beans growing. Also, the potatoes are starting to yellow, so I can't wait to harvest those to see how many potatoes we got in this one level. So we will see. I'm very excited to see, honestly, because if I could plant potatoes in there and in bags, because I like potatoes. Should I be eating a lot of them? No. Do I like them? Do I want to grow them because I can eat them when I want to and preserve them, you know, dry them out, cure them, whatever you call it? Yes, and so that's what I'm going to do. And so the last part of the garden tour is the walkway that y'all couldn't see me struggling through it, but I was struggling through it, y'all. This is the walkway that I showed you earlier, but we didn't really talk about. So these bags have miniature sunflowers in them. Now, I don't know why this one is so big, but it's about to give me a sunflower. It was supposed to be miniature, just like the rest of them, but it doesn't seem like it is. Also has dragon tongue beans in it, as well as black beans. So that's what this whole row is. And it's supposed to be my walkway into the garden, but right now it's just beautiful and I walk around. But they do it really good. And some of the beans actually have flowers on them already. So that's exciting to see what we get off of these. But I love this idea. I'm glad that I did it. Oh, also, I want to say the cucumber, I had to stake it. It is getting taller than what I was expecting it to be, which is fine. And I think the squash is doing the same. It has mixed itself in with this trellis, which not a big deal to me. Oh, and I forgot to show y'all. I think I've been forgetting to show y'all. These are the cucumbers that's supposed to be a miniature variety. And we planted these recently. They are well established now. So I'm excited to see that. I am going to hit them with some fish emulsion just to give them a little bit of a boost because I mentioned that this area has wood chips in the walkway. That's why I planted them on the other side. But also, I just want to give them a boost just in case they don't have the nutrients that they need. And so that is the week 9 garden tour here in my Virginia Zone 7B garden. The garden is still looking good. Yes, I'm having to pull things and replace things, but I'm just excited that I have things to replace them with, because in previous years, I wouldn't have had anything to replace them with and it would have just been bare spots. So I'm excited to see what the second part of my garden is going to look like for this year. About to get fall seeds started. We're gonna do that together. But yeah, garden is looking good, y'all. The garden is looking good. How's your garden doing? Anyway, I will probably see you tomorrow for a Greenstalk Greenhouse tour. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all.